Hey, what's up, guys? Houston here. I'm going to tell you some of the best EIN trade lines you should have on your business credit profile. Now, there is a difference, all right? And so most people are not aware of it. There's trade credit and then there's financial credit. Now, say that you trying to start a restaurant or you're trying to start janitorial supply type of company, you're more likely going to be focused on trade credit because you want to be able to get access to equipment and stuff without paying for it up front. Now, with your financial credit, those type of trade lines, those are the ones where you're trying to get access to Visa, MasterCard, business lines of credit, business loans, right? And so it all depends in terms of when you're trying to go after EIN only, like business credit cards and stuff like that, then you are on the financial side of things, okay? And so you want those type of trade lines to be reporting for the business so that you can qualify for more funding. That being said, when you're looking at EIN only, most of the time with EIN only, especially when it comes to financial trade lines and you trying to get money and stuff like that, a lot of times with the banks and stuff, they want to see you being established for a certain amount of time. They want to see a certain amount of revenue. So a lot of people, when they look at this EIN only, they're thinking like, oh, I can get $20,000 EIN only. Yes, you could, but it all depends on how established the business is, how much activity is going on in the business bank account. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that because a lot of people is under the misconception when people say, oh, you can get $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 in business funding, that without you having that actual activity going on and not having established business and stuff like that, it's going to be very challenging to get unsecured funding. So you have to have a foundation built up first. That being said, some of the cards that you may want to consider on the financial side, that reports on the financial side, I should say, is like Mudflap. Like with Mudflap Visa. Now, here's the thing about it with Mudflap Visa is that you do not need to have a DOT number. Anybody can get this, especially like if you're in the delivery or the courier business. This is definitely one of those cards you should take into consideration. Now, the thing about it is that they usually want you in business for at least 6 months, okay, to qualify for this. However, they will report to Experian Business, all right? That's for us reporting to like Dun and Bradstreet and things of that nature. I couldn't find any information on it, so I'm not for sure if they report to Dun and Bradstreet. But to my understanding is Experian. Now, let me also state this so you guys can understand. When you apply for these EIN only financial trade lines, you have to also understand in terms of when they report. Some of these trade lines, they're not going to report within the next 30 or 45 days. Sometimes it may take 60 days for them to report, okay? And the reason is they're looking at, are you using a card? How often are you using a card? Okay, so they're looking at all of this data so they would actually have something to report, because somebody will get access to a card like this and they won't use it. So because you're not using it, then there's nothing to report. You actually have to use the card. All right, so that's the main thing. Now, you also have another gas card you can check out as A to B. It reports on Experian. And again, like I said, when you get the card, use the card. It usually takes about 60 days before you may see it reporting on your Experian Business credit profile. All right. Now, let's talk about Credit Strong. All right. On their business account. Now, a lot of people assume getting a Credit Strong trade line and trying to backdate it is going to get you more funding. It does not. Okay. Yes, it may report as a financial account, but that does not mean that it's going to get you more funding, okay? So you assuming that you having a high trade line from Credit Strong that, oh, I can go to the bank and get 25, 30. Again, if you don't have no relationship with the bank, they don't have no documentation showing that activity is going on and stuff like that, don't expect to get a whole lot of money. Even with Chase, here's the thing about it with Chase these days. Chase now is starting to become more conservative. Even with new business credit cards, where people had a commercial saying you can get 150 and stuff like that. The thing about it with Chase, if you are brand new to them and you don't have deposits, usually the maximum they'll start you out with is maybe $5,000. Okay? So they've become very conservative. All right? Unless you actually have a strong credit profile on the personal side, as well as you're making large deposits, that's the only way in terms of you start to get the higher limits and force credit cards and stuff like that. So don't assume because you have this old corporation, a shelf corporation, if there's no activity going on, then you're not going to get any funding. And the reason I continue to tell you this, look, we've been building shelf corporations for almost 2 decades, okay? And one of the things we always tell people, if you don't have updated taxes, you don't have activity in the bank account for at least 6 to 9 months, do not expect a whole lot of money. A lot of people thinking they're just going off of the time frame you've been in business. But if you don't have any actual records showing revenue and stuff like that, forget about it, all right? So I'm just being transparent with you from a guy that's been working with building Chef Corporation over 2 decades, all right? Now, there's another one. Divvy, okay? So let me go back to Credit Strong so that it could help you. Like with Credit Strong, they report to Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. Again, do not expect for it to automatically show up. You have to give it time, and you actually have to, with Credit Strong, they'll just put the trade line on there, right? But again, in order for it to show up in your business credit file, I would still say with at least 60 days to expect for it to show up, all right? Now with Divvy, okay, so with Divvy, they will give you a corporate card as well. And so with Divvy giving you a corporate card, it's reports to Small Business Financial Exchange and Dun & Bradstreet. Now, here's the thing about it with Divvy. There's 3 reportings, okay? There's the week, the bi-weekly, and the monthly, okay, in terms of reporting. And in terms of the amount they're willing to give you, because it's treated like a revolving account, all right? EIN revolving account. And so what that means is basically whatever they give you, if you decide I'm going to be paying myself weekly, they'll give you a higher limit. If you decide bi-weekly or monthly, then they give you lower limits, okay? So that's how Divvy works. Then you have NAV, okay? And so with NAV, of course, they're giving you 2 trade lines. They're giving you a trade line for their membership, then they're giving you a financial trade line for the credit card. And again, most people make the mistake because they may give them a low limit, they do not use it. And when you don't use it, they do not have nothing to report. Okay, that's just the reality of it. How can you expect for me to report something when you're not even using the account? The good part about it, because they actually give you 2 trade lines, all right? And it's showing up on Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax, and Experian. Again, do not expect for it instant reporting, all right? They're not doing that instant reporting anymore. I don't care if people tell you, oh, go over to Granger, Seed, Uline. Now, with those, they want you to buy products from them multiple times before they even report. All right? And I've been telling people this for years, that with a lot of these here trade companies, they still usually take 45 to 60 days to show up. All right? So that's the reason why I choose to tell you to build a relationship with the banks directly and trying to show you how to choose the best banks and credit unions as well as fintechs to actually build a relationship so that you can get the funding you need. All right. So then you also have capital on tap, right? Now, capital on tap, unfortunately, if you are a DBA, capital on tap is not going to mess with you. Now, I'm going to tell you this out of precaution. When dealing with capital on tap, what would happen is that you would say, okay, I make X amount in revenue. All right. So they're going off of that revenue that you said that you make, and they're going to give you that limit. However, do not be surprised when they double back and they ask you for invoices, or when they ask you for business taxes. Okay. And if you don't present those to them, yes, they will cut your card off. All right. Easy card to get with EIN. However, if they ask for documentation, you're not able to provide it, do not, I'm telling you, do not screw over them, because they will shut that thing off. All right. Now, another thing I'm going to hit you all over the head with is that address. When you use those virtual addresses, again, a lot of people are being flagged for using virtual addresses. All right. And I continue to tell you, because there have been people that used those virtual addresses to get corporations, self-corporations and stuff like that. And they would get trade accounts. They would get credit cards. They would get loans because it was under the corporation and wouldn't pay them off. So it would hit that credit file. So then by them assuming they're dissolving without settling the debt, whoever reactivates that can end up owing the debt. So that's the reason why I tell you guys, you have to be very careful with these people telling you, oh, get a chef corporation over in Delaware or over in Wyoming or whatever. You better make sure ain't no debt on that, and make sure that address is not flagged, because you're gonna end up wasting money. And I've talked to quite a few people recently. I ain't gonna say the guy's name that's selling them, but they've been paying $10,000 plus for chef corporations and have not been able to get any type of funding on it. And they didn't even have to do all that. If they would just follow the basic steps, they would have got more funding than investing in a chef corporation. So, excuse me for pointing like that. I'm just a little emotional. But just telling you guys the truth, you have to be very careful. Another financial account that you can add to your business credit file is Fair Figure. Fair Figure will give you a financial loan plus a trade line for signing up for their membership. Okay. And the thing about it with Fair Figure, long as you're making at least $2,500 and you've been in business at least 90 days, they will give you a financial loan that reports to the business credit bureaus. Okay. So this will give you some leverage as well. All right. Then you also have 7-Eleven. Most everybody around here, there's a 7-Eleven somewhere around, and they have a flea card. But the good thing about their flea cards, and hey, it works sometimes, sometimes it doesn't. I have heard that people get the 7-Eleven flea card, and they would go in and get not only fuel up, but they would get snacks and stuff. And sometimes if they see gift cards, they would bundle them up, and they able to get it. Now, I'm not saying that's 100% true. People have said they've done this. If you have a 7-Eleven flea card and you ever done it, hey, put it in the comments. Have you tried it? Does it work? All right. So just sharing some information with you. For those of you that want to set up your company now, I would tell you to do it now, so that way your company can start aging, especially by January 1st. That company will be 1 year old, okay? So schedule an appointment to set up your new corporation and open up that business bank account. Trust me, if you do it now with this administration, what's going on, at least you setting up a small business now, you would have an advantage. All right. So I hope this helps you. If you have any question about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.